And real astronauts are extremely intelligent scientists who've been tested to the limits of their physical and mental fitness. But this was really not women in space. It was stupid people in space. This was the lowest IQ space crew that has ever been launched from Earth.
They're treating her like she was in Nam. Where are my babies? My babies. Like she was almost dead. Here's Katy Perry. Kisses the ground. Right. You were in such danger.
The celebrities like Katy Perry, who were sent on the stunning and brave girl boss mission into outer space for Blue Origin, are now having complete and total meltdowns over the backlash that they've been receiving for the past 48 hours in response.
She too. Okay, kisses the ground. Somebody already, you should be kissing Oprah. Oprah's there. Kiss Oprah. She's worth far more to you than the ground. Thank you, Jesus. I mean, truly, it's like they're right back from Nam.
Wendy posted, Wendy's, the fast food chain. Yeah. Can we send her back?
Oh!
Now Wendy's is refusing to apologize for the post, despite the backlash.
What did they do?
That was one small step for womankind, one giant leap backwards for mankind, as far as I can see.
An all-female Blue Origin space crew with celebrities including Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez, and Gayle King has been hilariously mocked after it returned to Earth following an 11-minute trip into the Earth's atmosphere. Katy Perry jumped out of the aircraft and kissed the ground in a painfully cringe moment that has been roasted online.
Okay, you even see people like Wendy's the restaurant, completely roasting the heck out of Katy Perry for what she did. The backlash to this entire thing has been hilarious, but the people that aren't finding it very funny are people like Katy Perry and some of the other celebrities that
Katie!
Woo! This commentator said, "Cool story. She got to ride in a rocket with other women."
To this insane cringe that unfortunately we all had to suffer through. I mean, the cringe has been off the charts with this entire thing, and pretty much the entire internet hates what they did here.
It is the highest high, and it is surrender to the unknown, trust, and this whole journey is not just about going to space.
Katy Perry was quoted as saying, "We're putting the ass in astronauts." Okay, all right. You go, girl. This is so...
This is why she needs empowering, because she keeps revealing her stupidity like that, and we have to boost her back up.
Katy Perry went to space for 11 minutes, and somehow that was enough to break the internet, fracture fandoms, and spark the wildest celebrity roast of 2025. The Blue Origin mission was supposed to be inspirational, a historic all-female flight to the edge of Earth's atmosphere. But instead of awe and wonder, viewers got GoPro glamour shots, awkward shoutouts, and Katy staring into the camera like she was on American Idol, not floating in zero gravity. Within hours, astronauts was trending. By the weekend, even fast food chains were roasting her. And just when the memes started to cool down, South Park dropped a bombshell. Katy's space stunt became the punchline of an entire episode. Melting Botox, influencer egos in orbit, and Jeff Bezos as a cartoon villain. It was savage. But here's the twist. Katy clapped back, hard. And now the backlash? It's doubled. This isn't just a space flight gone wrong. It's a full-blown PR crisis with memes, mockery, and damage control at Mach speed.
Sorry, but I'm like, why are you... Don't show your boobs. Don't talk about your ass. Don't get your specially made spacesuit so that we can make sure to see all your curves.
Let's break it all down, because Katy Perry's fight to reclaim her image just entered orbit. Tonight, we unpack how a giant leap for womankind became 2025's juiciest roast, and why South Park is about to pour rocket fuel on the flames. Buckle up. Blue Origin's NS-25 mission launched on April 14th, 2025, promising to make history. An all-female crew, a flight to the edge of Earth's atmosphere, a new era of representation in space. Sounds groundbreaking, right? But what was supposed to be a moment of awe and wonder, an 11-minute ride past the Kármán line, turned into something else entirely. Inside the capsule, cameras were rolling. Millions watched the live stream, expecting tearful gasps, maybe a powerful message about human progress. Instead, what they got was Katy Perry, eyes wide, lips glossed.
What did these women do? Like, honestly, one is sleeping with a billionaire who created this program and is jetting people, to outer space for like 10 minutes, for as long as like your average YouTube video takes.
Floating midair with one hand holding the capsule rail in the other, holding her phone, filming herself. That's right. In one of the most exclusive places a human being can go, Katy Perry gave us a full-blown influencer moment. No marveling at Earth, no stunned silence, just a steady gaze into the lens as if she was shooting a new music video in orbit, and the internet did what it does best. It lost its collective mind. By the time she touched back down in Texas, screenshots of her space selfie were everywhere. One viral post read, "You get 3 minutes of zero gravity and you choose the front camera." Another showed her edited into a green screen Kardashian confessional. Reddit threads exploded. Twitter turned savage. And TikTok, let's just say influencer parodies of N.S. Perry became a full trend within hours. But Katy wasn't the only one under the microscope.
Okay. They had nothing to do with any of the engineering. They're just looking for famous faces who could draw attention to Jeff Bezos' weird little rocket. His first little rocket looks exactly like a penis.
Gayle King was caught waving at Oprah through the camera instead of looking out the actual window. And Jeff Bezos, he arrived in the landing zone like a cowboy-themed action figure, complete with a spotless new hat and staged hero shot. Meanwhile, rumors flew that Beyoncé tried to FaceTime mid-flight, though that's never been confirmed. Still, nothing topped the viral fury aimed at Katy. What was pitched as a tribute to women in STEM quickly unraveled into a floating PR circus, with viewers accusing the crew of caring more about clout than the cosmos. It was less giant leap for womankind, more giant leap for Instagram. Think about it. An 11-minute suborbital mission, costing tens of millions, reduced to selfies, shoutouts, and performance. Instead of space expanding our sense of awe, it got reduced to content. And the worst part? This was just the beginning, because while social media was still mid-roast, the real punch was loading in the background. And it came from two guys who've never met a scandal they couldn't satirize. The roast no one saw coming, and Katy definitely didn't sign up for.
This is what bothers me, because I've certainly read some of the things online, coming from people that I know, that I like, that I consider friends. Space is not an easy.
And it's really bad. You know that the cringe is completely off the charts when you have other celebrities.
The memes didn't just trickle in, they detonated. Within hours of Katy Perry's now infamous space selfie hitting the internet, the remixes started rolling in like meteors. TikTok creators spliced her floating footage with the chorus of her own song, E.T., turning her into an alien diva drifting through the void. Others layered in dramatic space music, slapped on captions like "Influencer first, astronaut never." Twitter went into full roast mode. Actress Olivia Munn shaded the flight as gluttony at Mach 3. Supermodel Emily Ratajkowski dropped a grim-faced selfie with the caption "End Time S," dragging the entire mission as an eco-disaster dressed up in PR glitter. Amy Schumer, never one to miss a jab, cracked. Finally, a star as far from down to earth as her music. Then came the corporate snark. Yes, Wendy's, the queen of fast food shade, fired off a missile tweet. Can we send her back? 400,000 likes in 4 hours. The internet erupted, and just as quickly, Wendy's PR team slapped a hasty follow-up.
Either or. It's a both and because you do something in space doesn't mean you're taking anything away from Earth. And what you're doing in space is trying to make things better here on Earth. What Blue Origin wants to do is take the waste here and figure out a way to put it in space to make our planet clean.
Intended as spicy humor. But by then, the burn had landed. And that wasn't even the worst of it. Environmental watchdog groups were quick to jump in, crunching the carbon footprint of the NS-25 launch versus its impact. Spoiler alert, the numbers weren't kind. Dozens of posts broke down the mission's tonnage of CO2 emissions, all for an 11-minute capsule ride that resulted in selfies and slogans. New hashtags popped up like wildfire. Climate clout, chuck rich girls in space, cheer payload of ego pundits compared the mission to the Titanic. Big, shiny, headline-grabbing, and ultimately pointless. A billion-dollar toy turned into a content farm. And while Blue Origin tried to highlight the STEM messaging behind the launch, most viewers saw it as an orbiting vanity project, a moment that could have inspired awe, instead inspiring memes and mockery. News anchors rolled their eyes. Climate activists called it a carbon-fueled influencer stunt. And late-night talk show monologues? Savage, one line that made the rounds. Bezos launched a spaceship just to prove Katy Perry could be more tone-deaf than usual. Now that's innovation.
Katy Perry, I just want to congratulate you on being the first astronaut to sing in space for real. Thanks, Jeff. It was one small step for women, one giant leap for my Lifetime's tour. By the way, it's Captain Perry now.
The internet wasn't just roasting the moment. They were dissecting it, ridiculing it, and most importantly, keeping it alive. Katy could have gone silent. She could have laughed it off, disappeared for a week, and let the internet's attention span move on. But instead, she grabbed a flamethrower and walked straight into the fire. Katy claps back and makes it 10 times worse. 2 days after landing, Katy Perry did what no PR expert would have advised. She clapped back. She posted a flashy video montage of her own hate comments, backed by her hit Roar, and captioned it, "Imagine getting dragged for inspiring young women to explore space." Cue internet chaos. Fans praised her for standing up. But outside the bubble, people saw it as pure spin. Critics called it deflection. Rogan joked, "If courage means staring into a GoPro, count me in." Instead of calming the storm, she cranked it up. Space Karen merch exploded. Comment sections turned into war zones. Insiders say her team begged her to delete it. She didn't. And now, it wasn't just bad press. It was starting to hurt her brand. The fallout no pop star is ready for. The memes were one thing, but the real fallout started hitting Katy's career. Within a week, headlines claimed she was reconsidering her Las Vegas residency.
I know you're just a simple businessman, but I went to space for real. That makes me Space Captain Perry.
Sources said sponsors were stalling. Streaming numbers dropped 12%. A viral email even claimed fashion brands were backing off, waiting for the chaos to die down. Her team denied it, but insiders whispered she privately regrets the spectacle. Even Gayle King tried to defend the mission on CBS Mornings, saying it inspired girls everywhere. Critics weren't convinced. Ticket demand dipped, hype fizzled. Katy's brand wasn't just bruised, it was bleeding. And that's exactly when South Park made their move. Just when Katy thought the memes were dying out, South Park sharpened its knives, and they didn't come to play. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, known for turning pop culture meltdowns into savage masterpieces, zeroed in on the Blue Origin fiasco like it was written for them. In a season 27 teaser, fans spotted a parody of Diddy jetpacking through orbit. But insiders say episode 4 goes way further. Leaked details reveal a brutal storyline. Katy Perry, animated of course, gets Botox mid-flight. Her face melts in zero gravity. Jeff Bezos returns as a mind-controlling alien.
Excuse me, Captain. Hello? We have a problem. You need to get down here right away. All right, we'll be right there. What's the problem? Please, Jeff. You don't know as much about this stuff as I do. I sang in space for real, after all.
Celebs are lured into space for cosmetic testing. And yes, Diddy floats by in a prison jumpsuit, rambling about secret music deals and the list. The whole episode is a direct hit on influencer culture, celebrity vanity, and the absurdity of treating space like a red carpet. And Paramount, they loved it. Executives reportedly doubled down on promo, calling it peak South Park. For Katy, it's a nightmare that won't go away. Just as she's trying to move past the backlash, she's about to be immortalized in one of the most savage TV roasts of the decade. And Blue Origin, they're scrambling to save face before the next punch lands. As the internet continued dragging Katy, Blue Origin was feeling the heat too. What was meant to be a headline-making celebration of innovation and empowerment had spiraled into the year's most viral PR nightmare. So out came Jeff Bezos, smiling, polished, and flanked by his fiancée Lauren Sanchez for a carefully crafted media tour.
So what's the problem? Man, for some reason I feel dumb around you. Anyway, when you sang in space, alien communication satellites picked up the sound waves. And they loved it! I knew I felt a connection when I was in space for real. I sensed the magic of the universe coursing through my foof.
He called the NS-25 mission a win for science, saying it put STEM back on the front page. The company blog followed up with glossy posts touting carbon offsets, scholarships for young women, and an upcoming STEM curriculum for classrooms. They tried to pivot the narrative from cringe content in space to inspiring the next generation. But inside the company, the vibe was different. According to a leak reported by Ars Technica, Blue Origin engineers were exasperated that decades, moss of serious aerospace R&D had been overshadowed by a viral selfie scandal. One insider said, "We launched a high-precision vehicle into suborbital space, and all anyone cares about is Katy Perry's lip gloss." Behind closed doors, board members reportedly pushed for new policies to prevent another influencer incident. There was even talk of banning personal filming devices during future missions. Yes, really, they're literally rewriting policies to stop the next Katy Perry moment from happening. But the damage was already done.
When we heard Katy Perry sing, it was triggering for us. I mean, who the hell makes a real spaceflight about themselves by trying to sing to an entire planet without consent? Some organisms are very sensitive to terrible music, you know. Also, launching that much plastic into space is technically littering.
PR analysts estimate the fiasco knocked nearly $240 million off Blue Origin's brand value in just one quarter. Sponsors hesitated. STEM partners went quiet. The mission that was meant to inspire had somehow made spaceflight look like a joke. And while Bezos tried to spin it as a win, it was clear the fallout wasn't just external. It was eating away from the inside too. But the biggest divide? It wasn't in boardrooms. It was online, among the fans themselves. As the fallout spread, the internet didn't just roast Katy, it split down the middle. Polls on X, formerly Twitter, showed the divide in real time. 63% of users called the mission a glorified PR stunt. The other 37%, loud, loyal, and ready to fight.
And part of our mission is to make sure everyone in the galaxy recycles. That's why, Captain Perry, you're coming with us to be disposed of properly. So you see, Captain Perry.
Katy's fan base, the Katy Cats, launched their own counter-campaign. Girls in Space, flooding timelines with quotes from female astronauts, historic mission photos, and side-by-sides of Katy next to trailblazers like Sally Ride. Their message? She's inspiring the next generation. Deal with it. But climate activists weren't having it. They fired back with threads unpacking the environmental cost of NS-25. The fuel burn, the carbon plume, the symbolism of privilege literally leaving Earth. They dubbed it luxury emissions, mocking the idea that you could inspire girls while torching the planet. Then came the think pieces. Feminist writers accused Katy's critics of thinly veiled misogyny, while others, some within the same circles, argued that weaponizing feminism to deflect genuine criticism cheapens the cause. It wasn't just a pop culture moment anymore, it was a full-blown ideological battlefield. Even Spotify got weird. Under her song E.T., the comment section became digital trench warfare. One side,
after a ton of anticipation, Katy Perry actually went to space today. And I thought this was going to be like, a few days, weeks, maybe even a month in space. And it was this huge historic moment where it was an all-female crew traveling to space for the first time ever in human history.
Alien queen in space. Iconic. The other, more like a tourist with a selfie stick. On Discord, pop culture communities tracked sentiment shifts like election night analysts, updating charts and memes by the hour. Katy's name was everywhere, but no one could agree on what she symbolized. And of course, late-night shows cashed in. One brutal monologue on The Daily Show lit up social media. Blue Origin let 6 people see the curvature of the Earth, and the rest of us saw the curvature of Katy Perry's ego. The audience erupted. Perry's legal team issued a 2-word statement. No comment. At this point, the whole thing felt less like a PR campaign and more like a space-themed episode of Black Mirror. So with fans divided, reputations on fire, and satire pushing it all further, where does this rocket-fueled circus actually land? Katy Perry went to space for 11 minutes. That's it. No moon landing, no Mars colony, just a quick hop past Earth's atmosphere.
Turns out they were there for 11 minutes, none of them actually controlled the spacecraft, and Katy Perry had the most dramatic exit I think I've ever seen. Girl, why are you kissing the Earth? You were gone for 10 minutes. This is literally a more dramatic exit than the 2 people who were stuck on the International Space Station for 10 months.
And somehow it became one of the biggest cultural explosions of 2025. The mission that was meant to empower and inspire turned into a meme. A roast, a battleground. What started as a celebration of women in STEM spiraled into a storm of selfies, satire, and scorched reputations. Blue Origin lost credibility. South Park smelled blood. The internet turned a science milestone into a digital war zone. And at the center of it all, Katy Perry, glossed, floating, and defiant. Was she a feminist icon challenging outdated norms, or an influencer hijacking a scientific moment for clout? Depends who you ask. Some say the backlash was sexist, others say it was well-earned. But either way, Katy clapped back, refused to log off, and became a cartoon punchline in zero gravity. Maybe that's the real lesson here. In 2025, you can leave Earth, but you can't escape the internet. So, what do you think? Was Katy unfairly targeted, or did she bring the heat on herself? Did South Park go too far, or just far enough? And did Blue Origin make history, or just headlines? Drop your take in the comments, smash that like button if you're still orbiting with us, and don't forget to subscribe. Because this story, it's not just a roast, it's a warning.